What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. And today we have to continue to talk about this Magic Johnson Lakers saga and the ESPN article written Lakers 2.0, the failed reboot of the NBA's crown jewel, which was written by Baxter Holmes, that details all of the dysfunction and transgressions that happened within inside the Lakers organization during Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka's time there. Also, we're gonna follow up with one of the worst takes I've ever heard on an NBA sports media talk show as well. Let's go. So in this article written on ESPN.com, came out May 28th, written by Baxter Holmes. It's a long ass article to start off there, and it's really hard to read for me because while he does go into detail about some of the things that people are saying about the dysfunction in the Lakers organization, he really doesn't give any sources for any of the information. All of these stories that he's talking about comes from Lakers training staff employee, ex front office exec, somebody close to the situation, and the only names or people who end up getting cited by their actual name is Magic Johnson. He said this in response. Rob Pelinka said this at this time. Rich Paul said this at this time. But then you have all of these people giving these opinions and these uncorroborated stories about Rich Paul, about Magic Johnson, about Rob Pelinka. There's folks talking about what Rich Paul was thinking at different points. He was in the Lakers organization, and we knew that he was there to check the viability of Coach Luke Walton. But then they give no corroborating statements or stories or anything to let them know for certain that's what he was there doing. We knew that he was there and he was trying to get him traded, and he said this and he said that, and somebody close to the situation who overheard the conversation. It's one of those articles that if you tried to turn it in, to me, all right, let me say this. It's the equivalent of writing an article or a paper for your college professor, and then all of your sites came from Wikipedia, right? And when I was in college, I don't know, maybe now Wikipedia may be a more verified source, but when I was in college, you could not use Wikipedia as a site. And that's basically what this is he say, she say. I would believe that if you got 100 people who all got something negative to say, at least you could pull one of those person and convince them to give you a name. I watched The Wire, right? I've been watching it recently, and in The Wire, you have folks who they know we not snitching. No, I'm not telling. But then every now and again, when somebody is about to give up some information, what happens is you let them know, bro, if you gonna snitch, you're gonna have to do your day in court. If you're gonna be reporting on NBA basketball and these kind of topics, at least get somebody who willing to do their day in court and say, yo, you giving me some great information here, you're gonna have to let me put your name on it. I would appreciate that. There's a story in there where he talks about the Rich Paul riding on the plane, on the team plane. Somebody says he did it a couple times. Somebody said it only happened once. And if you're gonna get somebody that's some hard, concrete thing. It's an event. It happened. At least if I'm gonna put it in the article, I'm gonna say, yo, old boy showed me some Snapchat photos where he had Rich Paul in his story on Snapchat, so I know for a fact he's telling the truth. A lot of this article is a lot of he say or hearsay, he say, she say, hearsay stuff. So it's nothing in here that I feel like you could just really take home and be like, damn, Magic Johnson, the cold-blooded individual. I think that there is some stuff where I wouldn't be surprised where when he came in and was trying to shake up the culture and yo, we've been losing for years, because the Los Angeles Lakers were terrible for a long time, right? And when you're trying to fix a terrible organization, a lot of times you may be terrible because of things that's happening on the court, and then you also may be terrible because of the things that's happening in the front office. So if you're trying to go from terrible to a champion, You can't just tell me that the only thing we need to fix is the coach and the players when you're trying to overhaul an organization, because while the Los Angeles Lakers is one of the premier franchises in the NBA, they do have some issues with luring free agents for a while now. And that just can't be because of what's happening on the court, because it's the city of Los Angeles and everybody, you know what I'm saying? Most, even if you're going to lose, you still come through just on the fact of like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be, we still in LA. But Magic Johnson has also already responded to it. And I will say, I believe that this article is potentially why he already came out and did his interview on First Take, because he knew this was coming out and this was going to try to be an assassination on his character. So he really wanted to get out in front of this story, start to create the narrative, and knowing that he was going to come back the same day that this article dropped to really drive home the point and really give his side. He didn't want this article to come out and then say, well, no, I didn't leave. I left because Rob Pelinka was a backstabber, because I believe that would have looked like he was trying to shift the blame. Like, it wasn't me, it was just him. Where the way he did it by coming out originally and giving his side of the story, and then this article coming out and say, look, I already told you what happened, why I didn't like it. Now I'm going to tell you that all of this stuff is lies. Well, I can appreciate is in Magic's response to this, he really addressed it straight up. Hell no, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. And then also spent some time like really showing you about his character and who he is, and why this would be out of the character or out of the ordinary for him to act like this article portrays him as.
Angeles Lakers. Your response to these reports?
I've been in business 35 years. I've had partnerships with some of the biggest companies, Fortune 500 companies in the country. Now, I've never sat in an HR person's office in 35 years. 2 years with the Lakers, no HR appearance. Jeanie Buss, do you think Jeanie Buss will allow me to abuse the employees? If that was the case, she would have called me in. Joe McCormick would have called me in, the lawyer for the Lakers, as well as Dan, the other lawyer. It never happened, right? I'm a person who brings everybody together, uplift the employees. I've never abused an employee, and I never will. That's not what I'm all about. Now, Rich Paul had access to the Lakers because he had 2 clients with the Lakers. He called and said, hey, I'm in Brooklyn. We talked about allowing him to fly back with the team. That's the only time he flew with the team, because he was in Brooklyn, and I allowed him to do it. That was on me. I allowed him to do that. Then let's go to, Rob and I, when we were there, we worked well together. But the little thing that was going on behind the scene, that bothered me. And last but not least, lazy. I have built a $600 million business. You cannot be lazy going from playing basketball and winning 5 championships. So I wasn't lazy as a player, and I'm not lazy as a CEO and a business owner. That's never going to happen. I was brought up in Lansing, Michigan. My father worked for General Motors for 30 years, never missed a day, never was late. Do you think he going to allow me with 6 sisters and 3 brothers to be lazy? Not a chance. Now,
so you see there that Magic definitely goes into details about a lot of the valid points. What I will say is when you go through and look at the media and like a lot of the things or headlines or little quotes that they're grabbing from that article, it all comes from like the first page of it in the first paragraphs. Like you could tell that most of the folks who read this thing never made it all the way to the bottom of it, because probably for some of the same reasons that I was talking about. The Rich Paul thing, the way he created the culture of fear with the Lakers, all of that right at the beginning of that article. So like I said, check it out. Now, what I also think was funny, and I wanted to show y'all this, and it really shows me the value of guys like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and what they bring to these talk shows, because when they're not there, a lot of times, man, these replacement analysts have some crazy out there opinions and it just don't make a lot of sense. So let's check out this take from Ryan Hollins on ESPN, First Take, and him giving you his reasoning of how Magic Johnson lost his power. It wasn't all of the backstabbing and all of the hoopla that has been reported in all of these different articles and videos and stuff that we've seen, but he is blaming it on Magic's involvement with the Ball family.
I want to shift towards when Magic Johnson lost his power. Because there was at one point with the Lakers that he was all powerful. And I believe when he drafted the Ball family. Why do I say that? When you are a front office exec, you have a player that you champion. It may not be popular amongst your other execs, your assistant general manager, amongst your president. When you bring in Lonzo Ball, he doesn't live up to expectations. And now the noise from his father, from his family, continues to demean your organization. Then you go out and get LeBron James. Well, guess what? LeBron James doesn't have the same energy, the same cachet that he once had. So now all the people that are chirping going, why'd you draft Lonzo? Guess what? De'Aaron Fox looks better. Jason Tatum looks better. All these other guys you could have got that came without the baggage, now they're second-guessing Magic Johnson. This is very common in NBA front offices. But guess what? That wasn't the deal that Magic Johnson signed under, but that was a turning point.
I disagree with that. I think it's an interesting point, but I disagree with it because actually when you look at the results, when the Lakers fell apart, first LeBron got hurt, then he came back, and the only difference was Lonzo wasn't there. Lonzo is an extremely high IQ, very precocious player who I think is actually the keeper of all the young guys, and LeBron obviously likes playing with him. But I hear what you're saying.
All right. So I love that Max Kellerman basically handled that situation already. He jumped out and said, I disagree with that right away, shut that whole point down. But I want to backdoor him just a little bit here and say, if Ryan Hollins is right, we have to realize that the first decision that Magic Johnson made as the president of the Los Angeles Lakers basketball operations was to draft Lonzo Ball. So if you say that he lost his power when he drafted Lonzo Ball, you're basically saying that he lost his power immediately. The first decision that he made took his power away from him and had people begin to second guessing, which does not make sense because when you say like there's so many people, there may be executives and all these people who second guess your decision and don't want you to do it. Damn near everybody in the Los Angeles Lakers organization at that time felt like they were champion bringing the Ball family and Lonzo Ball to the Los Angeles Lakers. So the ideal, and it even came out later that Jeanie Buss said that she is the one who was pushing for the Lonzo Ball draft, and Magic actually wanted De'Aaron Fox. So like all of his points are just like that, way coming out of left field, and in no way validated by anything that he said. He went on this whole like rant to try to make his point make sense, but none of it to me made sense. If you all understood what he was saying, man, let me know down in the comment section. School me, because this guy here, man, it's not a lot of folks. I'm not gonna say he need to not be on First Take anymore, but you know, somebody need to sit down with him, work on his game a little bit and say, yo, Ryan, you know, this is how you make a point. This is what a good take is. This is what a bad take is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should, you know what I'm saying, compare the three, check the similarities, and go through it with him like that. I feel like he would benefit from that type of mentorship and tutelage. But it's your main man, AB the Hero. Man, make sure y'all go ahead and like this video, comment on it, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. If you are, make sure you hit that bell to get them post notifications. We running out the content, y'all know how we do. Also, we over on Instagram, we got them behind the scenes posts that I drop every now and again over there as well, in the story, through on Instagram TV, all of that great stuff. So make sure you follow me over there on Instagram as well. It's your main man, AB the Hero. I'm out. Peace.